We're so encouraged that you're involved in an HTB group, and you've probably got hold of this because your group is about to start a new series called Rebuilding the Walls. And we're going to look over the coming few weeks at the book of Nehemiah under that title, Rebuilding the Walls. I don't know if you've ever read the book or not before, but I want to encourage you, why don't you think about reading the book of Nehemiah over the next couple of weeks? Obviously you can do it as you track through with your group, but you might like to actually think, do you know what, I'm going to sit down and grab an hour and read as much of it as I can in preparation for learning it and understanding it a bit more. I want to encourage you to do that. Over the coming weeks, we're going to look just specifically at the first 6 chapters. So if you can't do the whole book, maybe just the first 6 chapters. And if you can get the first chapter before you get to the first session, that's even better. But you may be asking yourself the question, why are we doing Rebuilding Walls? Why Nehemiah? Why is my HTB group even bothering with that? And there are loads of reasons. One, because we love getting around and learning more from the Bible. And even Jesus spent time in small groups teaching from the scriptures. He'd get some of his disciples, 2 or 3 together sometimes, maybe 12, maybe a slightly larger group, and he'd pick up the pages of some of these pages and he'd teach from them. And he'd learn, and they'd learn together. And so we want to be in the habit of doing that primarily. But more specifically about Nehemiah. Firstly, we really believe that God has got a call on your life that he wants you to influence in the places where he's set you. And Nehemiah is a great example of a person who catches a vision, begins to put it into action, and learns huge amounts about influencing the world around him as a result of that. And so it's a great book to study if we too are beginning to catch that vision, that idea that God wants to use me wherever he's set me, and he wants to mobilize me to build his kingdom. The second thing to do specifically with Nehemiah is that we are living at a time when there is huge complexity in our world, where morals and ethics are being questioned all over the place, and we read the pages of our newspapers, and perhaps like me, sometimes we lament over what is going on in the world. And one of the things we know about the context of our time, our day, is that particularly here in the UK, the church is at a low ebb. That's the reality. That's the brutal fact that fewer people have been going to church. Lots of statistics that get thrown around demonstrate that less people are going year on year to church. And yet we know that God is not done with us yet. We know that God wants to do something again. And it's almost like this moment of saying, in the complexity of our world, all the difficult things that we're facing, could God bring about a rebuilding of his kingdom? Could he build the walls of his kingdom in our day? And what's our part in that? So we want to explore that and enjoy the adventure together. And so, having listened to this, why don't you read some of Nehemiah, get ready for your first HTB group. If you're not already in one and somehow you got hold of this, pull a group together, get involved, and we're going to journey. So let's go for it.